Hey, what is up, gamers? v1.0.2 just came out. Let's read about it. v1.1 is mere weeks away, and it brings a brand new and original hero joining the ranks of Argus, Zarus, and Kira. That's not all though, as the update brings many highly requested features such as the mouse and keyboard support for consoles and PS5 trophies and more. This is for v1.1. It's not this patch, so of course both of these not really something that I care about myself, but for you console gamers out there, you're definitely gonna like these for sure. But if these are the talking points about v1.1, I feel like v1.1 won't be that big, or maybe they're just holding off for now. We'll see what happens. Enough talking about v1.1, let's focus instead on the smaller, more balanced focus that is this patch. It's not just a balanced patch though, it also brings highly demanded legendary Doomsday Steel skin alongside all new variants. Let's look at the skin, yeah? I mean, I remember this skin. I think it's pretty good. It is legendary, so that means we're gonna get new VFX. I'm very curious of the VFX. If you guys are interested in that, I might make a video on it, just so you guys understand what you guys can get with this legendary Steel Doomsday skin. I think it's pretty decent. It wasn't one of my favorites. Also, it looks pretty low quality. Like the renders here, like his hands, they look very pixelated and stretched, so I feel like this is not the best picture for Doomsday Steel, that's for sure. Alright, there's also a banner, a spray, a profile icon, and there's also a variant, Sapphires, and Jet, I guess. Be interested to see, what is this? Wait, hold up, wait. Now this is a skin, boys. What is this one? Stick up your targets in steampunk style with Revenant's bronze gilded new clockworks. And this is not just a color though, no? It's an uncommon skin? Okay, is it just me, or is this uncommon skin much better than this one? Let's zoom it in, dude. That looks good. I mean, sure, there's not much being done on like the clothing, but like the face mask, I like it, dude. I feel like this should have been like a rare skin, not an uncommon one, but yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Hell, I might. If I was a Rev main, I'd probably buy this, right? I think this one looks good. This one looks much better. Right, you also get a spray as well, so I'd be interested what the spray is. And we also got Punk face skin. This looks like a common skin for sure. I don't think it is that much. Yeah, it says it's a common up here. Okay, we also have Dark Heart Mortgage skin, which is kind of whatever. Not really interested about this one either, but that is basically it for the skins. All right, let's move on to the hero balance changes. I'm very curious to see what they've done. All right, we start off with Argus, and I'm telling you right now, he is the best mage in the game, so I'm expecting nerfs here. There's a health decrease going down by 10 from level 1. Damage decreased on his Dread Nova, which is his Q. The explosion radius is also decreased. That's pretty nice, actually. I've been wanting this for a while, for quite a few patches. I feel like the stun is just very easy to hit and very hard to miss, right? So, like, I'm glad this was changed. Also, the explosion VFX is reduced by 30% to better match its hitbox, which is a lot bigger of a percentage than this. So, I always thought, like, the VFX was too big anyway. So I'm glad they are also fixing this, because it makes people think, hey, that should have hit, right? The VFX shows it like it's clearly hitting, but it definitely was a bit too far for it to hit. Also, they are nerfing the ultimate magical power scaling. I think that's completely fair. I think this is a justified nerf for Argus. Alright, so Aurora definitely got nerfed last patch and was pretty big. She's still a top tier pick in ranked, of course, so I'm not expecting massive changes. So I'm very curious to see what they're doing here. Speed increase on the wall, so that's only for your allies. That's completely fine. It's only 5%, but have you? I think there's some good use for this, right? It does kind of allow her to engage a bit better, of course, with follow-up. So there's that, right? She will have faster follow-up. It's not much, but it's something. They're also changing the cone double explosion thing, double damage thing. Cooldown going down by 1 second at max rank, and the explosion damage is being slightly reduced to kind of like give and take kind of thing from the ability. So they want to make it a bit more spammable, but reduce the total damage it does, which I guess that's fine. Doesn't really matter too much, right? I think she still is gonna sit wherever she was. She might have a bit better engage alongside her team, but that's about it, I think. They're nerfing Dicker's movement speed. That's basically just it, only by 5, which is a little bit, but it's not a crazy amount. But of course, any Decker nerf is probably a good nerf. She is very, very strong and very easy to play, so there's that. Right, and we move to Drongo, a small nerf to Old Rusty here, basically just dropping it down by 5 damage, and another slightly bigger nerf to Radrians, which does it up to a decent amount of damage, but it's nothing too crazy to talk about. But definitely he needed the nerf. He was one of the better ADCs in the game. Alright, Feng Mao, this guy is too broken right now. I'm expecting massive, massive nerf. Alright, Feng Mao is very, very strong, and there's very few changes from what I'm seeing here. Only a 5% physical power scaling nerf on Windwalker. They're also reducing the movement speed, scaling with physical pen on his shield, and a small, small nerf to the reaping dash damage. It's gonna put him a bit more in line, but I do think he probably needed a little bigger of a nudge, if I'm being honest. But I don't mind it. I don't mind if Feng Mao is still a little bit strong, or well, he's very strong, but I guess I'm just being nice about it. Alright, this one I'm curious because I do feel like Gideon is a little bit weak right now, and I know this might you raise some eyebrows, but I do feel like he doesn't have the uptime other mages have, so I do want to see what happens to Gideon. In fact, they are reducing the cooldown on his Cosmic Rift by 1 second at all levels, and Torn Space looks like it is also getting the cooldown reduced late game, but not early game. So they're basically making it longer early game and weaker late game. This is actually pretty nice because that allows you to like repeat gank Gideon a bit easier. Early levels after he uses his E. If you like gank it, then he uses E, then you sit behind a fog wall and gank it again. So that's kind of nice. He'll need to like sacrifice some farm that way. But yeah, this one's also really nice for him, right? I feel like these are justified. Did he need 2 seconds lower on this? I don't know, maybe. So he has more uptime to navigate through fights. I don't really mind it. Enemy people can take his portal anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. So I would say this is definitely a nice little buff for Gideon. Alright, we get to talk about Grox, which in my opinion isn't as strong as some people might think he is. He's getting an armor growth increase by 0.15. Smash and Grab is getting the cooldown reduced by 1 second at all ranks, and Crush, which is, I believe, his E, which is the dash, is also getting a cooldown decreased. It goes down to 11 from 12 at max level. I think that's completely fair. Howitzer, and I'm scared they're going to do something weird again with Howitzer, because they buffed him last patch, and I was very confused. I was like, why are they doing this? He was the best mage in the game, and they just buffed him. It was very, very confusing. Damage reduced on the Art 2000 and magical power scaling decreased. I think this is what they changed last time, and so they're reverting it. Completely makes sense. Don't know why they did it in the first place. Also, landmine, the damage is also decreased here by 10, and make it rain. Total damage is increased a little bit. About 60. Not early game, and that's what's important. Mainly the early game damage is what's important here, guys, because he does like if he's not really ahead, the ultimate kind of does nothing late game. If he's not ahead, right, it's still gonna do damage if he's even with everyone else. But like this is what's mainly important to me when I see this ultimate. Of course, it's still a really good buff for his late game, but I don't care that the ultimate is getting buffed, if I'm being honest, as long as this is getting nerfed. I mainly like that this is getting nerfed because this is a little bit disgusting. I would have liked to see maybe the passive getting the cooldown reduction on it a bit nerfed as well, because it was kind of insane. But hey, maybe that's fine. I don't really mind it. I do like that he's finally getting nerfed though. Alright, Kwang is still a lane bully in offlane. He doesn't really lose lane, so definitely expecting some nerfs to make his early laning a bit weaker. In fact, damage is decreased on his passive by 2, which is not crazy. So let's look at the other things. Cooldown is getting lowered on Judgment of the Heavens, and the mana cost is also getting decreased. Okay, we're taking away something else though, right? If we're doing this, we have to be taking something else. Hell damage decreased on Light of the Heavens by just 5, and the shield is decreased by 15 at all levels. Okay, that's decent. A little bit of power shift through his abilities. And Fury of the Heavens has the damage increased by 30 at level 1. Um, I'm confused, to say the least, but I guess the most important thing to note here is this, which is the nerf. This is why he can lane bully and lane. Majority of the time, the shield is very strong, so they are nerfing it. So there's that, right? But they are buffing some other things here, but this is more so of like because he goes too much and you can always build Elafrost, so I completely understand this one change. I also definitely like this change very much. This is the only like really like nice buff he has to his level 6 to like all in someone. So overall, I'm not upset about this. I like the little shift they have. He's definitely still gonna be a lane bully, but I think it might be a bit nicer to play into. All right, Belka. Belka's issue, she has really bad uptime, so they need to lower the uptime on any of her abilities. Cooldown decrease from 6.5 to 6 on the Void Bomb. That is actually decent. That is actually decent. Don't care about the damage, it's only 5, but this is kind of decent because this is majority of the ways she can shove out an opponent. So with this, actually might put her back into not falling too far behind early game. So I do like this very much. Don't know how good it will actually be. I'll need to play it because it is only a 0.5 second, but it actually matters a lot, guys. It matters a lot when talking about early game. Cooldown increased on Murdoch's ultimate. You know, one thing also that I would have liked to see for Murdoch is the hitbox of the snipe was too big in my opinion. The VFX is also a bit too big. Sometimes you feel like you hit the snipe, but you didn't because like your laser literally feels like it went through you, but it's because of the hitbox and stuff like that. So like I feel like the hitbox needs to be cleaned up and fixed. Sometimes the snipe shouldn't hit you, sometimes it should, and you're just completely confused why it behaves so weirdly. But definitely like that the ultimate is going on a longer cooldown early game because it allows you to play a bit more offensive in other places of the map, right? Without just knowing that that snipe is always up. Alright, Serenity, which is her damage ability, the slowest change from 35% to 34 to 50%. What the fuck? And slow duration is decreased from 2 to 1.5 seconds. Wow. Okay. And shield increase from 60 to 180 on her little orb thing that she throws around. So 10 more shielding, 5% more scaling, 5% more move speed, lower mana cost, and cooldown is decreased by 2 seconds early game. So level 1, that means it's like even better to sit on it as a level 1 ability, but it still goes down to 8 seconds late game. So late game doesn't change, but it makes it a better ability to sit on it as level 1 since you usually don't level this ability much, right? Because it's always going to be level 1 before your Serenity and before your AoE shield. So it kind of makes her this ability as level 1 much stronger, right? It is much stronger for sure. Also, this one is a little crazy, man. Like, is it not? Maybe the slow behaves a bit differently where it starts decaying instantly after 1.5 sec it starts decaying as soon as the slow hits, so it's not actually like a 50% for 1.5 seconds. But if it's a 50% for 1.5, that's a little crazy, you know? That is a little crazy. Move to Phase, one of the most boring characters I've ever seen in any MOBA. Physical power is increased by 2, physical power growth is also increased by 0.6. Means that her auto attacks are going to be doing a bit more damage. Healing, magical power scaling is also increased by 5 on Essence Catalyst. Energy Lance, which is her beam, also magical power increased. And the decaying move speed is increased by 5% on her ultimate. So she's also getting a decent buff all around, just like Muriel. I feel like they're giving support some love this patch, no? Rampage, pretty strong right now early game. His clear is also really fast. A small 5 damage nerf might not really do the trick, but at least it's a nerf. Let's move to Richter, who's also pretty strong right now. Bonus health scaling is increased on his Electrocute by 1%, so it's from 9 to 10. The cooldown is decreased from 10 to 8 to 9 to 7, so 1 second at all levels. And there's a bug fix that now correctly shows its level reduction when ranking up the ability. Basically giving him more uptime on the E and making it a bit better in offlane, I feel like, because this is kind of what it does. I guess maybe to clear some jungle camps, but mainly offlane. Definitely mainly offlane, right? Yeah. Honestly, Richter is fun. So when he's OP, I don't mind it. It's not the same as like when Rampage is OP, right? That's in my opinion, because Richter actually takes a little bit of skill more than Rampage does. Alright, we move to Serit. Mana increased by 15 at level 1, and mana growth is also increased by 5 at every level. Gives her a bit more mana sustain through the game, because you can already build any mana items on her. I feel like there's not really a good mana item to build on her. So there's that. I think that makes sense. Also, damage is increased on Heaven's Fury by how much? By 10 at all levels? By 10 at all levels. I think Certs was sitting like at a reasonably balanced spot. So maybe they want to get her picked a bit more often. I think she was already getting picked a little bit more than usual. So this is definitely going to we're definitely gonna get to see a bit more Serit. More now that FaZe and Muriel are very much stronger now as well, right? Because you have to take this in consideration. Like someone like Serit, someone like Kai does really well with FaZe and Muriel. So when these champions get buffed, it's an indirect buff to champions like Serit. Because they synergize really, really well together. Shimbi damage, magical power scaling is increased by 3% on her AoE circle rhythm, and also shield magical power scaling is increased by 5%, and rushing beat, which is I believe her dash, has the damage also increased by 10 at all levels. They say she has a struggle to impact, but I think it's completely fine where she was, where she has to like kind of scale a little bit. But I guess this might just make her scale a little bit more crazy, and I feel like the scaling here is what's scary. I don't mind this, to be honest. I feel like her dash, I'm fine with the dash doing a bit more damage, but this one could be a little bit scary. Yeah, I mean, like she could be pretty insane at one-shotting someone, but it is a small number, right? These are small number changes, so will it affect too much? Probably not, but definitely a nice little buff for Shimbi. I like this one though. I like this one a lot. What do we have for Sev? Looks like the ultimate has damage reduced at max level by 40 damage, and the magical power scaling, however, is increased by 10%. So now when he's building items like World Breaker, that is going to compensate for that damage nerf on the ultimate. Severo's still pretty strong right now. I don't really mind that he's strong, honestly. I feel like you can abuse him early, and he also does really well late game, but also ADCs do well late game too, and he can kind of suffer. So I don't mind it. Of course, he is definitely on the strong side. He is very, very strong, but I don't mind if he stays this strong for a few more patches at least, right? All right, Terra is getting touched up again. She feels like she's gonna get nerfed, I have a feeling. And I kind of don't understand why. I don't think she's that strong, but hey, let's see what they do. True damage is decreased by 20 at max level on her Ruthless Assault. Wild Rush, which is her dash, the shield is decreased by 2% of her max HP. And then Stubble Force, the ultimate, bonus physical armor is decreased by just 2 at max level. No, by 2 at all levels, and it says here that it's repeated. Bonus physical armor is decreased again, but what I assume this means is it's actually bonus magical armor is also decreased, and this is not physical by mistake. They just copied it and messed up here, but I assume that both physical and magical armor is going to be reduced just by 2 at all levels, which is just fine. I mean, I never had an issue with Terra lately, so it's fine if they think they should nerf her. I assume she still is very, very strong early game. This kind of messes a bit with her later game team fights, which I disagree was ever like really an issue because she is kind of weak in team fights. But the FEY, oh, did they do something nice to the FEY? Please tell me they did something nice. I love FEY, man. Let's see what they did. Physical armor is increased by 3 magical mana. Sorry. Mana decreased by 20. Ooh, that is gonna make her missing E's much rougher in the start. Movement speed increased by wait, what? By 15 on the passive, and the duration is decreased from 5 to 3. I think that's nice. Honestly, I like that. I honestly like that. I just zoom out as FEY. I kind of like that, dude. Gives her more of a pop off moment, right? Yeah, I'll take that. I'll definitely take that. Cooldown decreased on Bramble Patch early game by 2, and then it just goes down to the same time it was. Slow changed as well from 40 to 34 to 50, so it's better late game, and the mana cost also decreased. Only late game though. Harvest Nettles, what they do, this is her key ability to bully Enemy laners, looks like it's slightly nerfed early game, which is nice to see. It is pretty potent, but it is buffed late game. Magical power scaling is slightly decreased though, so there goes the slight buff here. Magic damage amplification per stack is also decreased by 5. Damage amplification duration increased from 6 to 8. I would need to kind of understand what this means. I'm trying to think in my head. I think I know how it works, but I don't want to say something and be wrong about it. And damage amplification max stacks increased from 3 to 4. Again, same thing as this. I think I know what it means, but I don't want to give you guys wrong information. The cost is decreased by 10, and the mana refund is decreased from 35 to 30. Projectile cast time and responsiveness improved. Ooh, I need to play FEY now. I need to play FEY. For sure, I'm getting a FEY game next patch. For sure. Ultimate. Oh, not ultimate. Sorry, I read this as ultimate. Untamed growth. Cooldown is increased by 1 second at all levels. I think that's completely fair. And the flight trap magical power scaling is increased. This doesn't really do much because mostly everyone has stasis, a dash, a blink, or a cleanse. So you very rarely get value from her ultimate. You do sometimes if you're paying track of abilities and stuff like that. You usually do get value from it, but like I'm a little bit harsh because it usually just takes all the resources from the enemy team to make sure they don't get hit by this. But yeah, I mean, I'm really interested. I'm really interested to see how FEY feels next patch. Windblast bonus attack speed is increased on the passive by 5%, and ventilate damage per bullet is also increased. 14 to 16 early game, but then it still is at 30 late game on the ultimate. I think that's fine. I mean, it's just a small shift of damage. The passive thing might actually feel really nice though. Like early game auto attacks might go kind of nice now. Like they might feel kind of nice. Small buff here to his early game for sure, and of course his late game. Yeah, I think he will feel much better weaving in abilities and auto attacks, so it's kind of nice. Zinx, oh god, they had to nerf her. I'm telling you right now, they had to nerf this champ. I think this was the last hero, right? Yeah, then we go to item balance patch. Mana decreased by 30, mana regen also decreased. That is a lot, by the way. She is already very mana hungry, so this is quite a lot. Mana regen growth is increased though by 0.03. Okay. Protocol, which is the passive, the bonus healing is decreased from 50 to 40. The bad medicine is going down cost-wise by 10. So I guess, okay. So I guess they're reducing this, so they reduced that. Healing, magical power scaling decreased on infused by 5. And the ultimate duration is decreased by 0.5 seconds. This is the big one, right? This is the big one early game because she's really good early game. This is also pretty big because the 10% on that heal is a lot, but of course a really big nerf compared to every other hero we had this patch. This might be the biggest nerf. Very much deserved. She is very strong. I'm surprised we didn't see like something about the ultimate, maybe reducing the percent of the HP they spawn back with, but maybe they're fine with that. But yeah, I mean, those are the hero balance patches. Now on to item balance changes. Ability haste increased on nuclear rounds. Move to MV, less spin on MV. The silence duration is going down as well. Infernum, the max health damage is being increased by 5% again. This item just keeps going up and down every patch, I swear, bro. I'm pretty sure it used to be 4.5 or something, or even 5 maybe. I don't quite remember, but yeah, this item just goes up and down every other patch. Malady is getting its passive reduced by 5%. Mesmer getting more physical power, and the cooldown is increased to 60. Okay. Moving to Fighter Crest, Basilisk, from 3% to 3.5% of missing enemy health on the passive Bonesaw. The passive is going up by 2% attack speed. Draconum is getting 5 more physical armor on it. That actually is pretty nice. That is actually pretty nice. Attack speed is increased on our Shaker by 5. Legacy is getting 5 magical armor. Life Binder is getting 5 more haste. Magnify is getting a bigger shred. Really? That's a big one. That's a big one. I'm going kind of fast on these, by the way, but like I'm only gonna stop if there's like a semi-big one like this. This is kind of nice. It's kind of, this will matter late game. This matters a lot. Orb of Enlightenment, health per level is increased from 12 to 15. Okay. It's not that massive, but it's a buff to Orb, right? Spellbreaker is getting the cooldown also increased by 15. Same as, I believe, what's it called? Mesmer? Dawnstar is getting 50 more health again. Dude, they love giving health to support items lately. They've been loving it. Lunaria is definitely getting nerfed for sure. This is a Zinx item, so it's definitely getting something nerfed. Max healing decreased from 100 to 300 to 100 and 250, and the damage sword is also decreased by 5%. Definitely a Zinx nerf for sure. And Marshall, another Zinx nerf, but also they like something like Muriel, and FEY also uses this. I assume it's gonna get nerfed as well. Oh, just base mana regen nerfed here by 25%, not much. Moving to tanks, I feel like tanks feel pretty good right now, so I'm not expecting buffs at all, but there might be some shifts between some items. Health decreased on Elafros by 50, physical armor is increased by 35, there's the shift that I'm expecting. Health decreased by 50 again, but the physical armor is increased. Ramian getting 50 less health, and Warden's Fate, the physical power reduction increased from 5% to 8%. That's nice. That's really nice. Finally, this item might be usable. Very rarely you get to use this item, but now this might be a usable item. Pretty interesting. And that is patch v1.0. I think we covered everything. I tried to be as fast as possible. If you guys enjoyed me going over the patch notes, yeah, let me know what you guys think about v1.0.2. Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you don't understand, and I'll try to respond to you guys. But as always, thank you all for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow for another Predecessor gameplay video. Peace out, gamers, and have a good one.